Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. How are you? Yeah, of course your friend, uh, the friendly. Okay. Oh. Mm. Yeah, we are supposed to have some discussions today here. But I'm waiting for my fellow to be with me. So, ani kile. Soko sembeze kusimia ono katono nzo kembeko byembikula katono just by your phone. Just a little bit. We're going to go with it. Just katono nyo kenjaga odabo. Come slowly. Come slowly. Look live streaming. Come slowly. Come. It's okay. Sound is simple. Yeah, the sound will work out. Wakina kigenda kwolwa bajja. Yeah. Kwata on kid. It shows it's having two people. I'm supposed to be having Harry. I don't know where you are. Tribe. Harry. Harry, are we on? Are we good to go? What could be your delay? Of course, for this case, we are going to look at different reasons. We are going to look at our topic. How has Ibrahim Traore, captain, the world's famous captain currently, Italian gigiye kondoza. Jako eri ennene eri. Tulabe. Yeah. How has Captain Traore? Yes, I've been just trying to test up some few things here and there. How are you, everyone? How are you doing? If you're watching up, you can send in your text, your comment. I just have a look at it. We want to be having different lives here, maybe weekly, daily, periodically, depending on our times. Of course, I'm giving you this live from Kampala, Uganda. And as an African, there is someone who's holding our African flag, and that is Ibrahim Traore, our captain from Burkina Faso. How I wish I can get someone to sponsor me a trip to Burkina Faso, guys. I don't even know what can happen to my life if I get someone who can sponsor me to go to Burkina Faso. I want us to look today on this young man, the youngest president in the world, the guy who is now ruling. I don't want to say that he's ruling the world, but the guy who is influencing the world. The way Ibrahim Captain is influencing Africa positively and negatively, the guy is doing everything. But of course, I would love to enjoy the positive side. I don't want to look at the negative side, though. If you're analyzing matters, you have to be keen and you have to look at both sides. That's both the negative and positive. However, as an African, I would love to take my African narrative, why Africans should celebrate Traore, why he's changing everything, why he's becoming great. I was supposed to be joined by Harry, my friend, Nigerian friend from he's currently in Kenya, but a Nigerian YouTuber, so that he can give us a picture of how things are moving in West Africa currently, because Nigeria is in the West and Traore is in the West of Africa. And of course, West Africa has been so radical than even the East African community. So that's why we're trying to look at how this gentleman is trying to influence communities, how he's changing lives of Africans, how he's improving lives of his own community. I think Tribe has just come. I've just added him. My goodness. My goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Hey, bro,
Are you seeing me?
how are we doing?
I'm okay. How are you, my brother?
Yes, I'm good. James, it's still raining on your shirt.
Man, you know me, I have one problem with me. I don't want
Yeah,
to call it a problem, but you know that most of my times, I put on
your branded
some
t-shirts.
t-shirts, on a branded t-shirts. Like I have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
10 t-shirts at home here, but
yeah,
all of them are brands. And now, since these
yeah,
brands are my people, are my family,
yeah.
they always want to see me putting on their shirts. Eh?
Yes, yes.
So I have to. I'm now failing. I'm failing to put on my own shirts.
Oh,
I'm now putting on my shirts.
yeah, I just want to plug electricity so that I know that I'm fully covered.
Yeah. So if I don't
Yes,
put on the games, I'll put on Resoli Marathon. I'll put on Gulu City Marathon.
yes.
So anyway, that is it. How are
Yeah,
you?
thank you so much for having me on your channel. It's really amazing. I wasn't expecting you to be here by now, but I know you to be a very serious and very candid person. If you say time, you keep up to time. Today, I'm really excited to be with the friendly man of Africa, should I say?
The friendly man of Africa.
Yes.
The madman of Africa. You know, I told you one day that I was supposed to be called the madman. Of course, you know
Yes.
that name. But you know what
Yeah, yeah,
happened?
you are frozen on my own channel. So let me try to find you and see if I can see if you are not frozen on other people's faces. But
Should
on
I
my
say the
phone,
name?
you're frozen.
Should I say my network?
Yeah, but let me try to check on another device, not the one that I'm using to stream, to see if I can see you. Okay. Yes.
Uh, you let me know because my
Yeah,
network
yeah,
is
yeah.
full.
So let me check. But right here, you're frozen actually. But I'd like to check you out here. Let me check that the friendly man of Africa.
Are you getting
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. I'm getting you loud and clear, but your picture is frozen.
The picture is frozen, but the sound is on. I don't know why now.
Yeah. So I want to check you on another device. That's why.
And my network is full here.
No, you're okay. You're okay. On my phone, you're frozen, but here you're okay.
Okay, that's nice. If things are moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now
you can share the link to our Twitter group, and maybe some people can join it too.
Yeah. Let me try to share it to the Twitter group. Let's have a conversation. Since you already sent me the link.
You know that it's my first time to be on a live, on a YouTube live.
Yeah.
It's my first.
But it's very easy.
Very easy, but I've never been there. Like, this is my first time. I don't know how many people it can accommodate. Can it go up to 4 people?
No. On this part, if you had used StreamYard, we would have been able to do that for more than 4 people. We would have been able to do 6. But since you didn't use StreamYard, we cannot go more than 2.
Okay, is my picture clear on your side?
Very clear.
Yeah, I didn't know. Then that's okay. Anyway, I don't know. Do you have any way you guys can record this live? Is it recordable?
It's you see, that's why I said back to StreamYard. You are using StreamYard, it will have been easy, it will have been recordable. Would have been able to record it now, but I want to use the link you shared is actually not even the link I'm supposed to share, because this one is for them to click and join. I'd like to see if
you just need to check on another link.
Yeah, I'm coming to see if it can be go live together. Let me see if somebody can click it and they'll be able to join us. But I want to share the link to the video. Let me share the link to the video. Yeah.
How is Nairobi currently? Where I am is too cold, eh?
Hey, this place is cold too. You can see I'm in my hoodie in the room.
Man, it is too cold here. It's been raining for almost 3 hours.
Hey, it has not rained here in Kenya for some times.
It has been raining for the past 3 hours, and man, it's not easy.
Yes. So let's say now, yes, you're live here.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me copy the link so that I can share to the group. Yes. Now we can have more people watching.
Yeah, you know me, I have only one device here, so
no problem. I'll share the link now.
Just tell them they should join.
Yeah. Come support the madman.
Yes, we are live.
I'm sure Sammy should be able to see it now. He's the next person.
Yeah, I see some 3 people have joined. Guys, you're very welcome.
Yes, please say hi in the comment section. Let's have a conversation.
Today it's my first time to be on a live, and I'm so excited. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go through a very important discussion, and we're having this discussion from the West Africa. And of course, we are driving our discussion from the most trending president currently in the whole world, and that is the son of Africa, our great guy known as Captain Traore, the man who has changed things, who has beaten all odds altogether.
Yeah.
Yes. I have Harry. Yeah. You know, whenever I call your name Harry, I remember the guy I studied about, former, I think he was former UK Prime Minister called Harry Truman.
Okay, yeah.
Harry Truman was American. Was Harry Truman a UK or an American? I think Truman was UK.
I think American.
American. Okay, it's okay. Anyway, You know, we've seen Traore captain. He's been trending for
Yes.
now 3 years. The guy overtook the government in 2022, and
Yep.
as we speak, the guy is 37 years, considered as the youngest president. Uh, yeah, and this gentleman has beat all odds all over Africa, all over the world. According to how Traore has been doing things,
Yeah.
a lot of narratives have been changed. First and foremost, if someone talks about Traore, what comes into your mind?
Um, for me, I have always admired the forces from a distance. After graduating primary school or before graduation in primary school, my idea was to go to a military school. And I've always admired young officers. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to any of them. We used to have two military schools that were very powerful. And one was the Nigerian military school, and then there was the Air Force Boys military school. So I've always been that passionate. But along the line, I have been very close to military officers. My granddad was a military man who fought in the Second World War. And then I was able to have friends who did go to the military and were still friends, classmates, and other things, and they have risen to the ranks. The one thing I admire about the military is that they are very straight to the point. They are not like politicians, so they don't beat around the bush. So having to see a person like Traore, they're very straightforward, and he is a very, very straightforward guy. I don't know if they say power corrupts, but for now, I have seen him like a messiah, somebody who has brought the wind of change across Africa. That's where you're beginning to see so many things happen. Um, like I said, power corrupts, but Tari is somebody that I see and I still can't imagine because I still ask myself, where was this guy? How was he brought up? I would like to know who raised him, because it doesn't just come like that. They say when you bend a stick when it's still young, it grows to remain bent. So somebody must have trained him from small that has actually made him the way he is. Uh, a goat will not give birth to a monkey. So there's certainly something that has really nurtured him and trained him to be who he is right now. And that's why we can see this kind of impact that he is making at the moment. So when I think of him, I think hope for Africa.
You think of hope for Africa. I really love that statement. Harry,
Yeah.
I think you've been seeing how this guy has been doing his work, and amid this all the news, we are seeing both propaganda, the Western propaganda against him, and we are seeing him also fighting against the propaganda.
Yes.
He has been so good with handling the media, and things have moved. Let me ask you, as a Nigerian, because you also come from the West, uh, how has how have things changed? How is politics moving in ECOWAS in that region?
Yeah, I think at the moment anything called ECOWAS is gripping in fear because at the moment nobody knows which country is next. Of recent, we're hearing of what is happening in the Ivory Coast, and for the first time, something happens within the the African region, and the Western media threw blind eyes to what was happening. It's impossible. I've never heard of it. That something is happening in Africa and the West pretend not to see it. It means that that thing is not in their favor. Whatever they would have wanted to report, they didn't have access to reporting it. So it's not in their favor. And in that way, they could not show it. So
Okay.
what is happening in the West African region is a wind of change. People are getting tired and fed up of the old system, the old politicians, the old tradition of ruling as if it's your heritage. Aside that, ruling people in favor of your family and just a few at the detriment of many. So the West African region is this thing, I'm not telling you, it's not happening by coincidence. These guys have been working on it. They go to training in European schools. They meet there. If you try to trace all these people who have been able to succeed in these coups and these coups that are having the wind of change, they have had contact with one or the other in so many ways, maybe outside the shores of even Africa. So there is a lot of fear gripping the West African region because most of those leaders that are there, actually, if you check, they are people who have ruled and have ruled and have ruled and are still ruling. And they have really nothing to really offer the people except to offer their families and their imperial masters, in quotes.
If I'm to ask again, of course, for example, now let me talk about my country, Uganda. In East Africa, we are almost facing the same problem of rulers who have stayed for long in power. If you talk about Museveni, almost approaching 40 years in power. Talk about Kagame, is having around 20 something years. If you go towards South Sudan, things are the same. The same anger of East Africans are having for power change, I think it's been the same anger people in West Africa having. But now, who is influencing the coups in West Africa? Who could be that? Where is that urge coming from?
Yeah, like I said, they said it's the wind of change, right? And when it comes, it sweeps. That wind of change, when it comes, it sweeps. Actually, I was watching a video on TikTok today and I was very, very worried about this video. I think I need to go back and check because I followed that guy and he was saying something dressed in military uniform about the country where I am right now in. And he was wearing, the military uniform with the badges, and everything. And I was wondering, he's talking about the same thing coming to this country where I am. And I'm asking myself, those who actually did the coups and succeeded or came with the wind of change, they didn't speak. So eventually, if somebody is really planning to bring such a change to the um, East African region, it shouldn't be something that should be debated, to even have on TikTok, to have on Facebook. They said silence moving, violence moving silence. You understand? We're not really talking about taking it by violence, but actually taking it in a way that you don't have to announce your coming. So in West Africa, what is really happening is not like the influence has been there, only that we didn't notice it. Something happened 3 years ago or 2 years ago, almost three now, when Traore took over the presidency in Burkina Faso, and he was invited to Russia, and he was the only president who was carrying his weapon. That video actually demonetized my channel because I was restreaming that video. I still have clips from that video where African presidents were there. They were given the best of cars. But there was one thing that stood out for me when I realized Russia saying they are giving all African citizens, free visa, most especially West Africans, to Russia. I think you need to go and look for that clip because it's there. It's on
Oh
the
my
internet.
goodness. My power's gone off. Have you seen the
But
dim
it's
coming
okay.
in?
The message is the most important thing, and as long as people can see me here, you're
Okay.
okay. This is Africa, and we must
Let me
embrace what
just
is
change
ours.
the lighting from the camera a bit. We have a camera inside here. I've also put my flash.
Okay,
Okay, I
okay.
think, are they
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
me?
yeah. So I can see you. So in a
Okay.
nutshell, what I'm saying, there was a time during that time, Russia was giving offer for all West Africans to have free visa to Russia. I made a video
Okay.
I posted on one of my channel. I still have that video. I'll give you the link to that video. And my question was, why was of a sudden Russia becomes friendly with Africans? In fact, black people, because Russia was one of the most racial places on earth that you
Okay.
actually want to travel to as a black man. But eventually it happened. And it's just like you trying to get a new girlfriend when you already have an old girlfriend. Uh, you will have to lure her in such a manner that she will have to accept you because possibly she also has somebody who is also asking her out. So Russia found a loophole in the way the West itself has been treating Africa, and they know that a lot of resources are found across West Africa that are very, very key to them. And with those resources, they can actually make an impact globally. So when they found that loophole, they decided to make a new relationship with West Africa, precisely. Not only West Africa, if they've been able to also have some good relationship with the Southern Africa, which is South Africa itself in the BRICS. They have
Yes.
created some very good relationship with Southern Africa in the BRICS. And of course, trying to see how they can lower the powers of the other Westerners, that is America, Britain, Germany, and the rest, in terms of currency, bringing about a currency that will be greatly accepted by Africa and the rest of Africa, because now we'll be able to determine our wealth and also our exchange rate based on our new currency if we eventually join the BRICS. So they found a way to fine-tune a relationship that will now become what it has become. Almost everybody is rooting for Russia. I remember when there was protests in Nigeria, there were a lot of Russian flags flying. In fact, some people were arrested, detained because of the Russian flag. So everybody is rooting for a better relationship with Russia, because Russia is now giving us the hope that if you have a relationship with them, they don't interfere in the activities or your internal activities. What they want is to build you and then eventually have your traits with them. You can see Traore refused to go for the swearing in of Trump, but he was in Russia just a few days ago. So it means there has been some kind of understanding within Russia and these African countries. The same thing,
But
everybody
now,
is yearning, we need Russia. Yeah.
let me ask you something.
Yep.
You see, Western countries like America and Europe, these
Yep.
people, they preach democracy, and
Which
at
is very
least I
true.
believe that their democracy has been their forces have been helping African countries to at least have some small sense of democracy. But now, if you say that people are running to Russia who doesn't interfere with African politics, don't you see that Russia is giving a chance to African leaders to start, having that, we call it omukono gw'ekyuma in Luganda, that strong,
Yes.
because no one is going to
Yeah. So
defend.
just like we said, at the moment, like I said earlier, Russia has found a way to fine tune its relationship with Africa, because they know what has happened to them. And this is the prototype I'm sure they have used. You know, when Russia was still in the USSR, they were much stronger than they have become now. So the
Okay.
only way the West could break them was to decide to find a way to break them and give them segregation. That's why they have the Ukraines, they have the Russia, they have the um, what do you call them? They were divided into so many pieces. And the only time you can overcome somebody is by the process of divide and rule. So once you divide them into smaller pieces, you break down their strength. And that's what they have done to Africa. First of all, imagine me, an African, traveling to Tanzania, I need a visa. For me, an African traveling to Uganda, I need a visa. But a European who is in England does not need a visa to go to Spain.
They've
He
made
doesn't
things
need a
easy for
visa.
them.
He doesn't need a visa to go to Italy. Some of them wake up in Italy, they go to work in Switzerland and sleep in Spain. But for me, an African, before I can travel to Uganda, I need to apply and wait for 3 days before maybe my visa will be approved or not approved before I can travel.
And automatically, it's disturbing our movement economy.
Yes, and then giving us segregation, and that is the only time we can fight.
Yeah. Now,
Because when you have
okay.
freedom to move in Africa, if the regime for you in Uganda is not favorable, you can carry your bag and move to Ghana and stay in Ghana.
I'm saying
Because
what
you're
you're saying.
African.
Yeah.
If it's not favorable in Ghana, you pack your bag, you move to Sierra Leone. It's Africa. And stay in Sierra Leone. But because they know that if they give us that freedom, we will not even fight. We're only
Yes.
fighting because we're limited to one compound. If you are in your
Mm.
room and there is a snake in that room, you won't go out.
You
You
have
have
to
to fight
fight.
to find your way out because the snake is blocking you in the room and the room is locked. It's either you or the snake. So you keep fighting yourself eternally while they dominate you from the outside. They're the
Yes.
ones who have put the snake inside. They have kept you inside. So they have to keep you busy fighting yourself. But if the door was open and you know you cannot kill the snake, you leave.
But now they have closed the room and they've left you the snake.
Yes.
So it is a
So
it is a
this is the boundaries they
it's
have
a
created for us. Now we are within the boundaries.
okay. Now I'm gonna ask you some few things.
Yeah.
I when I was doing a prep of this show, of this
Yeah.
edition,
Yeah.
on some of the changes this guy has brought to the world.
Okay.
Can you give me some of your views before I mention for you some? Because I'm gonna mention to you, then you explain to me how it is working out. For example, when I was doing this, I focused on economic and both political. There is what you call
Yes.
economic independence. How
Yes.
is Traore influencing economic independence in his country?
I'll tell you first of all, what Traore has done, what he did in the first 200 days of his presidency, first 200. Some presidents
Yes,
have not done it in their 2 terms.
those are 6 months.
Yes. No, not yeah, 6 months. Some presidents did not do it in 5 years, 10 years. Some of them look for 5 year terms per term, and then they do 10 years. Some have not done it in 2 terms. So what he did in 6 months, he was able to build over 200 schools in six
Okay.
months.
Mm.
Those are some of the achievements. He was able to build a hospital, international standard hospital, in the first 6 months. So
Mm.
these are some of the achievements. Apart from housing, agriculture, everyday commissioning of road machineries for agriculture, factories to produce. Right now, there is surplus of food from a country that was almost tagged as one of the poorest countries in Africa to a country that
Yes.
is now one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, debt free.
Let me ask you something. Traore
Yeah.
and
Yes.
they did what you call a Sahel alliance of
Yes.
Sahel after them leaving
AES.
ECOWAS.
AES. Yes.
How is this alliance of Sahel impacting or affecting both those three countries and ECOWAS at large?
Yeah. The EAS is affecting both the West African countries, Africa as a whole right now,
Mm.
and also the EES as a whole. Now, what the AES has done, the Sahel countries, is that they have formed a brotherhood. You touch one, you touch all. Whatever happens
Okay.
to Mr. A happens to Mr. B. That's the African spirit, the spirit we used
Yes.
to know before, where people will
Mm.
tell you that if I am for you, you are for me. A tooth for a
Yes.
tooth, an eye for an eye. I am
Mm.
your brother. If anything happens to you, it happens to me. This is the African spirit that me I know of. You
Okay.
know. So what they have done is that they have formed the merger to support each other, create an agreeable platform where they can support in terms of economy, security, in fact, in every single aspect of survival that they need to survive as a region. And they cannot survive alone. The West African region is still part of them. But what they're trying to
Yes.
show the West African region is that we as a group have agreed that we will face the consequences of what we are facing right now, the challenges that we are facing. But we are going to come out of this stronger, like it or
Okay.
not. We
Mm.
are going to come out of this stronger. And it is really showing in the results. And the other part of how they're impacting on the whole West African region is that they are showing us that though they might not have all the resources that other West African regions have, Ghana has cocoa and gold and also timber. Yet they are not having the kind of development that Burkina Faso is doing. Nigeria is one of the biggest exporters of crude oil. Yes, is not having the kind of development that Burkina Faso is enjoying right now. So it is a form of exposure. To some of them, they feel it's blackmail. And it's not only to them, to the whole African region. It is showing that it is possible. If a young guy at the age of 37, 38 can achieve what he's been able to achieve in 2 years, the old brains, with all the money they have had, they have not been able to change Africa up until now. Africa is still a place where you still say people are hungry. Yet the same people who are supposed to be the people caring and nurturing the young ones, training them to be better leaders. It is used to be said in Nigeria that Nigeria in African culture that an old man doesn't lie. Because why should he lie? He's closer to the grave. Fortunately, unfortunately, they lie the most. So Traore has come out to expose all that they do and all their neglects, to show that even with the little resources he has, he can do what he is doing. So imagine them with all the resources that they have. So that is the impact that he's making, both in his region, the EAS, in the West Africa, and the whole AU as a whole.
Let's discuss about this. Although Traore is doing a very great job in his country, but some scholars say that he is personalizing a lot of how should I call this in a simple term? Like he's not building up states, but though he's putting all the authority around him. And some people are saying that this might affect his leadership in future. How is that?
You see, when somebody takes responsibility for his actions, it's different from when somebody delegates his responsibilities.
But will he manage to rule the country when everything is
I'm still coming to that. Hello, Barry. Hello, thank you for joining. When somebody delegates his responsibilities, takes responsibility for his actions, is different from when somebody just delegates his responsibilities. Now, Traore has taken a bold step to take responsibility for his actions. That in my own time, it must work for Burkinabes. That is a very, very big decision. If it fails, it is Traore who failed.
Okay.
But not to say that he is working alone. He has ministers. I have seen his ministers commissioning a lot of things.
Yes.
I have seen a lot of students doing projects that he has helped them to execute. Because during his coming, he decided Burkinabes have to build roads with the skills that they have acquired. Unlike before, when you see road construction, you will see in my country, you see white people talking on camera, talking to the journalists, we're doing this road. Now he said, no, let's build our roads in our own style according to our topography. And we need you students who have been to school to come up with ideas on how we can build our own roads in our own way. And the students have been seen doing it. We need to build housing for our own people using our own materials. How can we do this? And they're coming up with technologies that are working. Imagine a country like Burkina Faso to be one of the first African countries to produce their own electric car, the Sahel. And not even one car, fleet of cars. And for sure, trust our other African countries. We will not even patronize them to say, okay, let's buy these cars so that we grow our own technology. We'll prefer to buy from Europe, from Asia, and not even patronize ours. But this is the product of what we call good leadership. He's not the one who's going to take credit for the car. that has been manufactured, nor the tomato paste that has been produced there. Everybody's going to benefit from it. The people of Burkina Faso will be able to afford it and eat. They will not have perishable mangoes. There used to be so many. Now they have factories that can produce fruit juices that can stay on the shelf for some months before they even get bad. So all these things that he's doing, yes, he's going there in front. Why don't people talk about when he is dressed and goes to the battlefield to also fight the terrorists? Why
Does
did
he
you talk
go?
about yes, how many times? Haven't you seen it?
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yes, when they're also going to fight terrorists, he goes.
Let me ask a funny question. According to you, you've been following Traore so much. Why do you
For sure.
think many of African presidents have not yet copied him? And do you see him influencing more leadership in Africa?
I don't see him yet. I have seen more. What he has been able to do since he took over power, I've seen it already in 3 different countries in Africa already happening. And then I know that it's still, like I said, is the wind of change and it's going to affect many more people along the way. Many more countries in Africa are going to take cue from what is happening. Bro, I still go back to my example where I told you of a snake in your house. When you have a snake in your house and you cannot move around and you have to make food, you have to take shower, you have to eat, and you're in the house with the snake, what do? You have to get rid of the snake somehow.
You have to fight.
So you either fight or you allow the snake to defeat you.
Yeah, you
So
either
it's
fight or
getting to
be
that
killed.
point. Yes. And if your neighbor had the same snake in his room and you guys have been locked in the rooms, and suddenly you see your neighbor is moving around, going to fetch water, he buys juice, he's drinking, and he's moving around, and you're still having your snake, what will you do?
You have to fight.
So now, this is what he has done. He has been able to prove to us that we can get rid of this system and have a better country. Yes, humans will remain humans. He's not perfect, but at the moment, he's better. The devil, we call him the better devil. We better have him. If we can have tens of him in Africa, we better have 10 people like him in Africa than have the other versions.
Than having billions of people.
Yes.
There's something about authoritarian concerns whereby it is said that he's against criticisms, he's against press freedom. I don't know, is it propaganda? Is it true that criticisms are not allowed in Burkina Faso?
What is press freedom?
Whereby I'm allowed to report anything I want.
Good. So why is it that only when the negative is to be said about Africa and it is stopped, that is when press freedom is not allowed? That is when you don't have press freedom. Why
You're
is
telling
it?
me? Listen.
Yes. Why is it that it is when it is the bad side of Africa that is to be reported and it is stopped, then it is not, you don't have press freedom. You talk about press freedom. That's what I was saying. What happened in Ivory Coast still wasn't reported by the West because it wasn't in their favor. Had it been in their favor, it would have been reported.
Yes.
But it wasn't. So when Traore is to be called a bad person by the people who were manipulating the same France who were manipulating Burkina Faso, now when he kicked them out, he became a person who stopped press freedom. But when they were in the same country, talking bad about the same country, talking of the poverty, the war was going on. You know, I listened to someone today when Boko Haram was dealing with Nigeria seriously. Nigeria needed 2 Tucano aircrafts. It took 7 years for those 2 aircrafts to be delivered to Nigeria. 7 years. Nigeria paid for it, but it took 7 years.
Okay.
If Ukraine needs 2 Tucanos today to fight their war, they will be delivered by the next morning. Why are we not looked at as humans when something is affecting us in Africa? People have to wait until the time that it befits them to do it. And even when they want to sell it to you, you can't just go to the market today and buy weapons at your wish with your own money. You will have to be given terms and conditions. You have to
Yeah, on
abide by some policies. Yes,
how
even
to
with
use
your
it.
own money.
Yeah.
Yes, before you're buying, they're not giving you for free. But before you even buy, you have to agree to terms and conditions before you can even buy.
Mm.
And now you're the one suffering insurgency.
Yes. Someone
So
told me that
yeah,
been hope has been recovered amongst the youths of
yes,
Burkina Faso, West Africa, and also Africa at large.
yes,
As long as we still have Traore as the leader of Burkina Faso, where do you
yeah,
see the future and visions of an African youth?
yeah. What I believe is that I have always prayed for this in my lifetime, that it
Mhm.
gets to a level that Africa decides to get its own freedom.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I came to Africa is to tell my own version of the African story, like to
Okay.
travel and experience Africa firsthand. So many mishap has happened to me that I really want to share deeply, and I will share them
Mm.
with time.
Okay.
Traveling right, starting from here in Kenya where I've come, and the experience I've had as an African here in Kenya as an African. But yes, I'm still in the process of sharing those stories. Gradually, they will come to fruits. And if I can pay my part by sharing my own story, my grievances, my joy, sharing the beauty of Africa as me and you have done. Traveling to Taita, you left Uganda, traveled for more than 48 hours before we could even get to Taita, a place I have never heard of before, just to go and explore and share those videos on our platforms, just to expose this part of Africa that no one hears about. Then it means
Mm.
that the youths are already rising. And I was not just with you, we are 10 of us who travel all this from different locations to go to this place to explore it. And the batch has already done another one in Uganda. Hopefully, we're thinking of doing another one in Uganda in August, and then coming back to Kenya again to do again, sometimes ending August ending, right? So,
October.
sorry, October, sometime soon,
Mm.
October. We're thinking of coming back to Kenya again to do again in October. It means that we, the African youths, are believing in what we have, the potentials that we have, and we want to
Okay.
showcase it to the rest of the world. That is the same way. If Traore has already come out today to be a leader and a very good leader at his age, it gives hope to another African who wants to contest for presidency. Before, we used to think maybe if we give this young guy, he will do this. Now there is somebody who is trying to prove that even the youngest of us can become the most vital and most valuable people that we need in leadership. So we don't look at anybody as too young. We can give an opportunity for a 20-year-old. As long as he has the potentials to lead, we should be able to give that opportunity to people like that. So it's just hope. Like I said, when I think Traore, I think hope and hope for the African youth.
All right. I think we've had a very great discussion. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, but I think tomorrow there is an issue of visas. Have you heard that Africa has lost around 60 million US dollars in visa denial?
Yes, it should
And
be more than that.
I think the Zambian president
Yes.
requested that at least uh, half of at least the money we use to request for visa should be, if you're denying me a visa, at least
You should give me
get me
my
back
money
at
back.
least, even if it's half of it.
Why should it be half of it? Why should it be half of it? You're asking me to pay for
Anyway,
something because I want to travel
mm,
to your country, and then you deny me the
mm,
visa, and then you take my money. So you open up your visa because you know I'm traveling to your country in such a way that you loot me indirectly. Do you know how many people pay for it? $60 million is small. Bro, I'm telling you, it's small
very small. So
compared to real figures.
we shall need to look at, we are going to look into the issue of visas, why
Yes,
Africans are having why we are not being given visas, why
yes,
countries are always denying us to access their countries, what should we do to also have a good Africa? I think we need to have discussions about Africa, as time goes on.
That would be a very,
So
very good one.
do some good research about that, and I think we shall be back here by tomorrow.
I don't need to do research. I don't need to do research. This is a situation that I'm inside. I've been a travel consultant, so this is the situation that I already know. And I have seen it happen. So I don't want to spill everything here today, but I'm waiting for you tomorrow. Let's get going tomorrow.
Anyway, thank you so much, Harry, for having me. I think I've done what hosted you, but at least you've given me a great time, analyze things properly.
Thank you so much.
I think we need to have this platform to always come and express our African stories, because we have very many to talk about.
Exactly.
Great. Tomorrow,
thank you so much for having me. I hope to be on the next one and the next one and the next one. And I'm sure we can also do a lot. We can also record these videos and have them as videos instead of live stream. I'll share something with you that we can also do, have a collaboration like this, and we can record them as videos, edit them, and put B-rolls on them. And you can also post them as you do. Guys, my name is Harry. The channel is Tribe. You can see it there, THRYBE. If you're watching us and you're not saying hi, please do say hi. We'd love to see your comments. The engagement on the platform will actually make YouTube to recommend it to other people. So don't just watch us. I can see 5 people watching. Don't just watch. Make sure you leave comments. Make sure you give your thumbs up. And don't forget, this platform is for us to express ourselves. These are our opinions and not the general opinions of everyone. And we're just giving our commentary for entertainment, education. Make sure you stay subscribed, like, and share. And thank you so much, the Friendly Man of Africa, for having me on your platform. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Harry. Have a good night.
You too. Cheers.
Yeah.